Hello students, hope you are studying well at your home. In the previous video, we discussed about the human respiratory system. And now in this video, we will discuss about the mechanism of breathing. Now you know that what is breathing. Breathing is the process by which we exchange the gases. Oxygen is come inside our body and carbon dioxide is released outside from the body. This process is known as breathing. So we will discuss about the mechanism of breathing. Today's topic is mechanism of breathing. The breathing process can be divided into two steps. Means breathing can be divided into two steps. The first is inhalation. The first process is inhalation or inspiration, in which air is come inside the body, and second process is exhalation. This is the release of air from the body to the outside environment. Inhalation or inspiration, this is a process in which we intake the oxygen inside. जिस प्रोसेस में हम ऑक्सीजन को अंदर लेके जाते हैं, एयर को अंदर लेके जाते हैं, that process is known as inhalation. Let's see how inhalation take place. But first of all, you have to keep remember that breathing is a mechanical process. ये एक मैकेनिकल प्रोसेस है जिसमें बॉडी के कुछ पार्ट्स हेल्प करते हैं प्रोसेस को करने में. देखते हैं कैसे होता है ये. Inhalation is a process in which what happens, we will show all the changes what is going through during the inhalation. During inhalation, first thing that happens, that ribs moves upward. Ribs moves upward. During inhalation, ribs moves upward. Like you have studied about the thoracic cavity in the previous video. हमने thoracic cavity के बारे में बात की थी. Thoracic cavity किस किस चीजों से बनी हुई है? The lungs that are kept inside the thoracic cavity, and it is formed from the ribs, from the lateral sides. In front, sternum is present. Behind, thoracic vertebrae are present, and below, diaphragm is present, and it makes combinedly a cavity that is known as thoracic cavity. ये जो thoracic cavity है, कैसे इसके अंदर changes होते हैं वो अब हम देख रहे हैं. For inhalation, ribs will move upward. जो thoracic cavity में ribs जो part बना रही हैं, that ribs are attached in the thoracic cavity, they will move upward. The muscles जो ribs के साथ attached muscles होती हैं, they pulls the ribs outside. बाहर की तरफ pull करती हैं and ribs आगे की तरफ move करेंगी. The ribs moves upward. Second change जो होता है, that is about the diaphragm. Diaphragm, it moves downward. Diaphragm moves downward. During inhalation, diaphragm moves downward. As you can see, diaphragm is a dome-shaped structure. During inhalation, it will become flat. It moves downward. Diaphragm नीचे की तरफ move करेगा, and finally it becomes flat structure. So diaphragm will moves downward. Due to these two events, जैसे ही दो चीजें होंगी, what happens inside the thoracic cavity? Due to this, the volume of thoracic cavity increased. Thoracic cavity is increased. जैसे ही ये होगा, thoracic cavity का volume increase हो जाएगा, वहां पे ज्यादा space create हो जाएगा, because ribs are moving upward and diaphragm is moving downward, due to which the space is increasing, volume is increasing inside the thoracic cavity, and air pressure reduced. Air pressure reduced. And air pressure reduced. Air pressure कम हो जाएगा. When surface area or volume is increased, then air pressure gets reduced. Air pressure reduce होगा जिसकी वजह से the air present that is present inside the outer atmosphere, जो atmosphere में present, it has higher pressure, but air pressure inside the body gets low. So air will move from its higher pressure to its lower pressure. Air अपने higher pressure से lower pressure की तरफ move करेगी, and finally it will come inside our body, और finally air enter करेगी हमारी body के अंदर, but passing through the certain path. एक path को follow करते हुए. What will be the path? Path क्या होगा? It will enter through the nose, then nasal chamber, and then it pass through the pharynx, then larynx, trachea, bronchus, bronchioles, and then finally air reach to the air sacs or alveoli. This is the path which air follow when it comes inside the body, and this process by which we can say air is coming inside the body is known as inhalation. This process is known as inhalation. Now let's take the second process, that is exhalation. Exhalation is the process in which we release the air from the body. The process by which we release the air in the outside environment is known as exhalation. Let's see what happens during the exhalation. The steps we discussed here, they all get reversed in the process of exhalation. First, the ribs which move upward, जो कि upward move की थी inhalation के time पे, they will now comes to downward. वो नीचे की तरफ वापस आएंगे. Ribs moves downward. Ribs will move downward. And diaphragm it's again come upward. It moved downward during the inhalation, but now it will come upward. It again becomes the dome-shaped structure. Diaphragm moves upward. Due to these two events, the movement of ribs and diaphragm, now let's see what happens. The volume of thoracic cavity gets reduced. Volume of thoracic cavity is reduced, and when volume is reduced, the air pressure is increased. So air pressure increased, and this pressure, that increased pressure, is higher than the pressure present in the atmosphere. So again, air will move from its higher pressure to its lower pressure, and finally air will comes out from the body by following a path, but in the reverse manner. जैसे ही इन एक्सेलेशन होता है उसमें क्या होगा, रिब्स विल मूव डाउनवर्ड. रिब्स फिर से जो आगे की तरफ बढ़ी थी इनहेलेशन के टाइम पे, दे विल कम बैक टू देयर नॉर्मल पोजीशन. They will move downward. Diaphragm also become dome shaped again, due to which the volume of the thoracic cavity get reduced and air pressure get increased. Air pressure increase हो जाएगा, और इस increased air pressure की वजह से ये जो alveoli हैं जिनके अंदर air filled थी, this air will now move back to the atmosphere. ये वापस atmosphere में move कर जाएगी, but following through the path. Now what will be the path of the air during exhalation? Air will move from alveoli to bronchioles, then bronchus, then trachea, then it's passed through the larynx, then passed through the pharynx, the nasal chamber, and through the nostril. It will released out from the body to the atmosphere. This process is known as exhalation. We discussed the mechanism of breathing. It has two steps, inhalation and exhalation, and these are the steps or events that take place during both of these two processes. Now in the next portion, we will discuss about the transportation of gases. How the gas is transported into the body. We know the oxygen is the gas which are taken inside the body. Oxygen is the gas that taken inside the body. Now let's see how it is get transported. When we intake the oxygen, this oxygen get filled. It comes with the air and it finally get filled inside the alveoli. जो हम एयर लेंगे उसके अंदर ऑक्सीजन प्रेजेंट होगी. ये ऑक्सीजन एयर के साथ आएगी और एल्वियोलाइज के अंदर फिल हो जाएगी. एल्वियोलाइज गेट फिल्ड विद दिस एयर कंटेनिंग ऑक्सीजन, क्योंकि बाहर से आ रही है, फ्रेश एयर है, इट कंटेन हाई अमाउंट ऑफ ऑक्सीजन, तो ये एल्वियोलाइज के अंदर फिल हो जाएगी. आफ्टर एंटरिंग इनटू द बॉडी, नाउ दिस ऑक्सीजन इज नाउ ट्रांसपोर्टेड टू ऑल ओवर द बॉडी. लेट्स सी हाउ इट इज ट्रांसपोर्टेड. द ऑक्सीजन which comes inside the body, the oxygen which come inside the body, out of these oxygen, 97% out of this oxygen, 97% of oxygen is transported through the hemoglobin. Hemoglobin, as we already discussed, is the pigment which present in our blood. hemoglobin हमारे blood में मिलने वाला pigment है, और यह pigment oxygen के transportation में help करता है. It's an pigment which contain protein and iron. Iron is the part of this hemoglobin. So this hemoglobin bind with the oxygen and transport the oxygen all over the body. यहाँ पे lungs में जब ऑक्सीजन पहुंचती है, lungs से ऑक्सीजन ब्लड के अंदर ट्रांसपोर्ट हो जाती है और ब्लड में से कांटेक्ट करता है. It can be taken by hemoglobin, and hemoglobin is the pigment which is present in our blood. Almost 97% oxygen is taken by hemoglobin and transported by the hemoglobin. When hemoglobin joins with the oxygen, it forms oxyhemoglobin. It is known as oxyhemoglobin. So almost 97%, up to 97% oxygen is transported by combining with hemoglobin. That is the pigment present in our blood. Rest all 3%. 3% oxygen is transported in the dissolved form. In the dissolved form in plasma. In plasma. Rest 3% oxygen is directly dissolved into the plasma. Plasma is the liquid part of our blood, which is watery or liquid part of our blood, and 3% oxygen is dissolved in this part and transported through this plasma all over the body. This is about the transportation of oxygen. Now let's see how carbon dioxide is transported to the body. We are discussing about the transportation of gases, how the important two gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide are transported inside our body. This is about oxygen. Now we will take about carbon dioxide. How carbon dioxide is transported? Carbon dioxide is transported by three ways. Like almost 70% of carbon dioxide is transported in the form of bicarbonate ions. 70% of carbon dioxide is transported in the form of bicarbonate ions. 70%, up to 70% of carbon dioxide is transported in our body by bicarbonate ions. What is this? We will discuss about it also. क्या होता है ये? When carbon dioxide present or enters in our blood cells, red blood cells, that is erythrocytes. जब erythrocyte में carbon dioxide enter करती है, carbon dioxide join with the water. It's combined with the water and it's formed carbonic acid H2CO3. And this carbonic acid now dissociate into its ion. It's formed hydrogen ion and it forms bicarbonate ions. So this is the form by which oxygen, carbon dioxide is transported in our body. We are discussing transportation of carbon dioxide. 70%, up to 70% carbon dioxide transported in the form of bicarbonate ions. Bicarbonate ions forms when carbon dioxide enter in our RBCs or erythrocytes. It joins with the water, it's combined with the water forming carbonic acid, and this carbonic acid dissociate into hydrogen ion and bicarbonate ion. This is the one way by which carbon dioxide transported in our body. Next, transportation of carbon dioxide is 23%. Up to 23% carbon dioxide is transported by joining with hemoglobin. Almost 23% carbon dioxide is transported in our body by combining with hemoglobin. As oxygen, carbon dioxide can also be joined with hemoglobin. So 23% can be transported by joining with hemoglobin. Now rest, how much percentage is rest here? Is almost 7%. 7% amount of carbon dioxide is transported by dissolved form into the plasma. It gets dissolved in plasma. Dissolved form in plasma. So up to 7% carbon dioxide is transported by dissolved form in plasma. So this is about the transportation of gases in our body. Oxygen is transported by 70% by hemoglobin, plus 3% by dissolved form in plasma. Carbon dioxide transported by three ways. 70% carbon dioxide is transported in the form of bicarbonate ion. 23% carbon dioxide transported by joining with hemoglobin, and rest 7% carbon dioxide transported in our body by in the form of dissolved form with plasma. This is about the transportation of gases in our body. In the next video, we will discuss about the respiration process in some another organism as well as the respiration process in plants. So keep watching and keep studying. Thank you.